to the channel. I'm back to break down this 10-game NBA DFS slate on DraftKings. Before we get into it, if you do enjoy the content at any point in this video, if you could leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell, that would be greatly appreciated. And don't forget to stay tuned to the end of the video where I'll be giving you my lock of the night, my new segment. It's been going on for a while now. We've been really good with that. Unfortunately, last night didn't go too good on the two-game slate. I tried to give you, more of a hot take to excel you up in those tournaments. I went with Mike Muscala. I thought he could get some more minutes. Even some viewers in the chat said, I think Mike Muscala is a good play. We could see Roby getting some foul trouble against Jokic, which I thought was a good thought process as well, honestly. But it just didn't pan out. So on a two-game slate, I tried to get a little more of a hot take. But on a 10-game slate, we're going to be back to the normal business. Giving you a good lock of the night. So stay tuned to the end of the video for that. If you are interested, I do offer some more content over here on Patreon, some NBA DFS packages, where you can get access to my premium NBA projections, NBA data sheet, player stats, team stats, play context stats, core plays, injury impact insights, NBA Discord chat access. I've been playing daily fantasy sports since 2016. I've been a member of these bigger sites that charge you $30, $40 a month, and I've put together a package that involves all the stuff that they offer and more for a cheaper price tag, to try to help you guys out, want some money at a more affordable price. So that's the goal over there. Come and join the community. We have 11 Patreon members right now. Come and join the KJK DFS team if you're interested. If not, that's fine. I'll be here giving you free content on the channel all NBA season long. And with that being said, let's go ahead and start breaking this one down today. Brooklyn at Cleveland. At the top, we have James Harden, Kevin Durant, and Kyrie Irving all on the floor at the same time for the first time. And in a matchup against Cleveland, so not exactly, the most ideal spot as far as keeping this game competitive. It is only a 9.5 point spread, which is kind of surprising to me, honestly. I'd expect it to be double digits. Maybe we see that line creep up throughout the day. But first time having to deal with all three of these guys being in the lineup together. As far as the usage and how this is going to go, I really, your guess is as best as mine, I guess. However, with that being said, I will say, I don't think they all can get there. You can't be playing all these guys in the same lineup, maybe two, but even then, I don't think this game's going to come in with the highest over-under on the slate. So, unfortunately, I can't really reflect on that with the Vegas line not being out. But you're going to have to pick. If I'm picking one, honestly, I'm leaning going to Kyrie just because he's been out for a while. I think he's going to be good to go and come back unless we see a minutes limit. But also his price, his price. He is only 9,000 compared to James Harden 10.9, Kevin Durant 10.5. And in the first game with Kyrie back, I kind of have a feeling they'll be feeding him the ball, trying to get the chemistry flowing, trying to get things going together. So I would lean going Kyrie in this spot. Now, as we continue along the slate, if there's a bunch of point guards that we like and there's some more value, maybe we can scratch that. So we'll talk it out as we go here. But Andre Drummond at 9.9 makes the most sense on the Cleveland side. He is the most expensive, but for good reason. This guy's, one of the top rebounders in the league. He's put up 24 and 23 rebounds, two of the last three, 20-plus rebounds. And against a Brooklyn team with DeAndre Jordan, who's not exactly, known for his defense, I do like Andre Drummond quite a bit in this one. Colin Sexton and Darius Garland are questionable, so keep an eye on that. Obviously, that's going to impact quite a bit here. Colin Sexton participated in practice on Monday, so I'd honestly expect him to be back and good to go. Darius Garland's a true questionable, so who knows with him. Kevin Porter Jr. continues to be out and won't be returning to Cleveland. They're supposedly trying to ship him out, or they're going to release him. So, as far as that affects tonight's slate, I would expect Colin Sexton to be back, which makes him a great play. He's going to get all the usage. And then Jared Allen is expected to make his debut, and he gets to face off against his former team. So we got a little bit of a revenge narrative here. Jared Allen taking on his former team. Andre Drummond down low. It's going to be an interesting dynamic of how those two work together. But I tend to think, that's just going to open up more room for Jared Allen on the offensive end, a little less attention to him, and then, he might get some rebounds stolen from him. But at 6'6", and I'm really intrigued to see, how this goes in his revenge game. So I like him. And then Taurean Prince. Same rule applies to him. We got another revenge game here for him. So, going to be interesting to see. I mean, the Cavaliers could really use these guys, honestly. You know, a different team than the Nets, a lot less talent to go around. So I'd expect these guys to get a lot of run in their debuts. I expect them to be full go. So, you know, I have interest in both of those guys for sure. Chetty Osman, I have less interest in with these guys being added to the team. Same thing for Larry Nance Jr. I think these guys are going to be affected in a more of a negative way with these other two guys joining the team. So, yeah, that's my overall breakdown there. Dallas at Indiana. 10-7 for Luka Doncic in this one at the top. As far as the Vegas total is concerned, this game has a 218.5 over-under. Half-point spread in favor of the Indiana Pacers. So not exactly a fast game. A little bit on the slower side. So Luka Doncic at 10-7. Not really sure I'm trying to pay up for him in this one. I mean, the guy has unlimited upside no matter the matchup. It's just the pace. You need opportunities. You need pace. You need possessions in basketball for, you know, upside. And I think Luka Doncic, the pace isn't exactly going to be there in this game. On the other side, things are a little different because, I mean, and then also not to mention Kristaps Porzingis, who's also taking away some usage from him now in the offense. So all those things added up together. I'm not really all that interested in Luka on this 10-game slate. I do have interest in Domantas Sabonis and Malcolm Brogdon because no more Victor Oladipo. It's allowing these guys to get a ton of usage. So both of these guys continue to be very good plays night in and night out, even though it's not the fastest paced slate or fastest paced game on the slate. These guys still make sense because, you know, of the different situation that they have over there in Indiana, and then not to mention Miles Turner is questionable. He had a hand injury, so. If he's out, you know, that's going to give more minutes to like TJ McConnell, Doug McDermott. So these guys would become interesting value plays down here. Doug McDermott saw 32 minutes last time out. TJ McConnell saw 26 minutes. So you could be looking to them. I think there's going to be better values on the slate, though. So Aaron Holiday at 3.6 is an interesting play with no more Victor Oladipo. But I think you're kind of reaching to go to this value. And then on the Dallas side, it's looking like Josh Richardson, Dorian Finney-Smith, Maxi Kleber are going to continue to be out. Jalen Brunson could be an interesting value play at 4.3. He was pretty chalky last time out. Got 27 minutes. He only put up 20 DraftKings points, but if he gets 27 minutes again in this one, he's more than capable of putting up more. That game was a blowout, so I think he got a little extra run than he's going to see in this one. And then James Johnson at 4.5. Should continue to see a pretty solid amount of run. He put up 27 DraftKings points last time out at a 5K price tag. You get a price tag decrease down to 4.5, so he's an interesting option as well with the assets of Finney-Smith and Kleber continuing to be out. And yeah, that's where I'd be looking to in this one. Boston at Philadelphia. Joel Embiid at the top comes in at a 9.6 price tag. This game comes in right now with a 5-point spread in favor of the Philadelphia Sixers. So the 76ers are favored with no Jason Tatum. He continues to be out in this one, so that's going to free up some more usage for a guy like Jaylen Brown, for a guy like Marcus Smart, for a guy like Kemba Walker, who we finally saw return in his first game. Went out there for 20 minutes, put up 22.75 DraftKings points. He's not exactly going to get the most run in the world coming off that injury, so at 6.5, I'm probably not looking to go there. I'd have more interest in Marcus Smart at the same price tag and Jaylen Brown at 8.7. Jaylen Brown is definitely the main beneficiary here. At 8.7, he can literally go out there and put up 70 DraftKings points in this offense with no Jason Tatum, so I definitely like Jaylen Brown in this one. And then on the Philadelphia side, Seth Curry is expected to be back, so that's going to give up the usage bump that we were seeing to a lot of these guys. It's going to be back to the same old rotation. So you got Joel Embiid at 9.6 in this matchup against some pretty good defense of Tristan Thompson, Daniel Tice. I'm not all too interested in Joel Embiid, to be honest, paying up for him. And I'm not all too interested in really anyone on the 76ers side. I think they're all priced pretty appropriately now, especially with everyone back. The guy that I would have the most interest in is going to be Seth Curry at 5.3. Due to his ability to shoot the three ball, we've seen this guy. He put up 41, 34, 30 DraftKings points, 34 DraftKings points, and 4 out of the last 5 games he was playing when he was healthy. At a 5-3 price tag with his ability to shoot the 3-ball and that half-point bonus on DraftKings, he makes a lot of sense, actually getting a defined role in Philadelphia, and you could play a Shake Milton as well if you wanted. The same rule applies to him, honestly. Both of these guys can get hot, and both of them are priced in the mid-5K range, so those would be the guys I'm looking to on the Sixers side. And then Boston, the big guys you could play. You could play a Daniel Tice, a Tristan Thompson. I tend to think these guys are just digging into each other's minutes. They're both priced at 5K, which is respectable, but I don't really think there's much room for upside at those price tags. Robert Williams is expected to be back at 3.8, so you could play him, hoping he catches fire off the bench. And you have Jeff Teague as well at 4.4. You could play him, but I'm not trying to look really all there too much on the 10-game slate. I think that's a little cute. I mean, if you have one roster spot left and you have to go there, but I have a feeling we'll have some better plays as we go along with slate. Here, Detroit at Atlanta. Right now, this game comes in with a 221.5 over/under with a 5.5-point spread in favor of the Atlanta Hawks. And Trae Young is listed as questionable in this one, but he's more so probable. It looks like Kevin Huerter is priced at 9.5. So that's definitely a pricing mistake on DraftKings' part. I could tell you the easiest fade on the slate tonight is going to be Kevin Huerter. Do not play Kevin Huerter at a 9.5 price tag. I don't know if they can change that. I don't know if that's in their policy, but that was a clear pricing mistake on their part. So that's kind of funny, but yeah, Kevin Huerter is a guy that we might be looking to if he was priced appropriately. 9.5, you could fade him all day, all night, so don't play him. Trae Young at 9.3 would be, your main pay-up option in this Atlanta, the second most expensive guy on the team. Comes in putting up 50 and 55 DraftKings points the last two times out. Finally see him get it going after struggling for a while there. He put up, multiple duds, 16, 31, 22. So maybe he's finally, good to go. So I would definitely have interest in Trae Young and a pretty decent total. And just, he's the main usage guy in this offense. Let's not lie. It's Trae Young's ball club, so I like him. I like Clint Capella at 7.6. A very good fantasy point per minute producer. We've seen him put up 54 and 54 the last two times out, and against this Detroit team, they really don't scare me as far as bigs are concerned. Mason Plumlee is a decent defender. You got Blake Griffin down low, but I'm not all too concerned about it. And then Detroit, you could play a Jeremiah Grant at 7.7. This guy's been very productive. He's just priced up, so he's got to get you like 50-plus DraftKings points for you to be happy. Could he do that? Absolutely, but I'd probably be looking more so to a guy like a Blake Griffin and Derrick Rose, priced at 6.1 and 5.4. Both of these guys have lots of room for upside in this one. So I have a lot of interest in Blake Griffin. I have a lot of interest in Derrick Rose. And a good matchup against this Atlanta team. Not exactly the best defensively. Both of these guys can definitely get you there. So like them both for sure. Cam Reddish continues to be questionable. Gallinari's out. Bogdanovich is out. So that would give a bump up to a guy like a Kevin Huerter who's at 9.5. So we're not playing him. Josh Jackson at 4K is an interesting option on the Detroit side. He's a guy that was really, really performing well early on in the season. Now he's not doing so well, but maybe his price tag drop. You can jump on him. He's going to get no ownership, and he could have a big game against Atlanta, so he makes some sense. And then on the Atlanta side, Rajon Rondo at 3K. Maybe he's the guy that gets a benefit if Cam Reddish is out, so maybe he's a sneaky play at 3K. But, yeah, I mean, they're kind of making it hard on us on the Atlanta side because Huerter would be the guy I'm going to, but he's questionable. I mean, he's a 9.5. DeAndre Hunter's the last guy. DeAndre Hunter would be my favorite play based on price tag for this Atlanta Hawks team. He's consistently getting around 40 minutes. He's only 6'2", plenty of room for upside at his price tag, so favorite play for his price tag. If Cam Reddish is out, that's going to give him a bigger bump. So, like Blake Griffin, like Derrick Rose, I like John Collins. You could play a Mason Plumlee at 5.2. He's actually a pretty interesting option as well. So if we need to go cheaper at center in an Atlanta matchup, he makes some sense. Put up 32.75 DraftKings points, 33 DraftKings points at a 5.2 price tag. If he can get you up to 40 DraftKings points, you'll be real happy with that. Miami at Toronto. Bam Adebayo at the top at 8.6. This game comes in right now with a 4-point spread in favor of the Toronto Raptors. No spread out yet, but I'd expect this one to be a pretty defensive-focused game. Both teams very good defensively. Guys like Bam Adebayo, Pascal Siakam, Kyle Lowry, Fred VanVleet, Chris Boucher, OG Anunoby, Goran Dragic. All these guys get paid for being pretty good on-ball, off-ball defenders. So, honestly, I'm not going to have a ton of interest in this game. The only thing that could open up some interest for me is Tyler Hero is questionable. Jimmy Butler is out. So, if these guys are out, that's going to open up more usage too. Duncan Robinson, Goran Dragic, these guards, Kendrick Nunn at 4K. Vincent is questionable as well, but he's listed as probable, so I'd expect him to be back in the rotation. Mostly interested in Goran Dragic and Duncan Robinson. In this one, I think both of these guys could take on a bigger role in at only 5'7" and only 5'8". If Tyler Hero is out, both of these guys make a lot of sense, so I'd be looking at them based on their price tags. And then you could play Kelly Olynyk, who continues to be a very good fantasy point producer for a big man, good at shooting the three at 5'3". He could get you up more towards the 40-point DraftKings threshold if he gets hot. But team that's starting to get more healthy, and on the Toronto side, their rotation is very predictable and they get a lot of minutes, so they make sense in that aspect. Like Kyle Lowry, Fred VanVleet, and Chris Boucher are all going to get around 40 minutes and are all priced in the mid 7K range. So don't get me wrong, you could play these guys based on their price tags. It's just not going to be the best game environment. Chris Boucher is definitely my favorite option. This guy continues to just kill against every team. At 7-3, I'd continue to play him while you can because he's going to get up more towards 8K, I have a feeling, here real soon. So, yeah, that's my overall breakdown on that one. Play the guys based on price tags. You could play a Bam Adebayo at 8-6, but, he's going to get a lot of usage for sure. It's just the matchup, so... But Bam makes sense if Jimmy Butler and Tyler Hero are out. He's going to get fed more opportunities, so he'd make some sense for sure if you could fit him in. Orlando at Minnesota. Excited to break this one down because this is more of the pace that we're looking for here. 8-8 for D'Angelo Russell. Karl Anthony Towns appears to be out in this one. With some COVID-19, so he's going to be out, which means D'Angelo Russell is going to get a bump up. I don't know what the over-under is going to be in this game, but I know that both of these teams don't really play defense, so I'm excited to play this one. D'Angelo Russell, ton of interest in him at 8-8 with no Karl Anthony Towns. He makes a lot of sense. Nikola Vucevic down low against this Minnesota front court. He's going to absolutely feast in this one against this Minnesota team that does not play any defense, no Karl Anthony Towns. Not that Karl Anthony Towns is a good defender. Honestly, that probably helps their case. As far as defending, Vucevic, but he's probably going to be taking on the defense of, Naz Reid, so I'm not really too concerned about Naz Reid slowing him down. I think you get the point. Nikola Vucevic, I absolutely love at this 8-6 price tag. I love targeting Minnesota. They're probably the worst defense in the league, according to a lot of my Patreon sheets, my tools that I use. Aaron Gordon, Terrence Ross, have a lot of interest in both of these guys. I'm going to have more interest in them if, and then Cole Anthony you could play as well. I'm going to have more interest in them if Evan Fournier is out. Evan Fournier is listed as questionable. He went through a non-practice Tuesday, but he's not expected to play, so that's beautiful. That means this is going to be real predictable as far as who we can go to. Nikola Vucevic, Aaron Gordon, Terrence Ross, Cole Anthony. Those are my guys on the Orlando side. And there's no Michael Carter-Williams, so he's not going to feed into the rotation either. So I love those guys for sure. I like D'Angelo Russell and Malik Beasley on the Minnesota side with no Karl Anthony Towns. Both of these guys are expected to get all the usage on their teams. So like those guys a lot. No Juancho Hernangomez. That could open up more minutes for the rookie and Anthony Edwards at 4-5. He becomes an interesting value play. And then, you could play Jarrett Culver. You could play Josh Okogie down here. Things get a little condensed, but these guys are priced pretty low, so depending upon injury news and stuff, maybe play them, but I don't know. I think this game is pretty easy to pick who you want to play. Naz Reid at 4-8 makes a lot of sense as well if he's going to get some solid center minutes, which, as said, facing Nikola Vucevic, I'd expect him to be out there, so he could be an interesting play. And lastly, Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt's guys continuing to see his role increase on this team, so he makes some sense as well. Picking those guys to go to some volume. But yeah, I love the usage-heavy guys in this game. D'Angelo Russell, Nikola Vucevic, Aaron Gordon, Malik Beasley, Terrence Ross, Cole Anthony. Get them in your lineups. And no Ricky Rubio on the Minnesota side, I should mention. That's just going to make me like Russell, Beasley even more. So love those two guys. Love Terrence Ross. Love Aaron Gordon. Love Nikola Vucevic. I think you get the point. A lot of interest to be had in the pay-up options in this game. Moving further along, Phoenix at Houston. Christian Wood comes in at 8-4 price tag. And this game right now comes in with a 5.5 point spread in favor of the Phoenix Suns. I'd expect this game to be not exactly the highest pace. The Suns aren't exactly the best matchup for fantasy point production, so the Rockets are, however. So I would have more interest in the Suns side in this one. Devin Booker is priced at 8-2. He continues to kind of suck this year, honestly, fantasy point wise. I'm just going to tell you to fade him. I'd have more interest in Chris Paul at 7-2, putting up 32, 33, 39, and 32 DraftKings points. Just waiting on him to put up a 50 spot, taking on Houston, his former team. This could be a good spot to do so. It'll be interesting to see if Oladipo guards Chris Paul or Devin Booker. I'm sure he'll take his turns on both, but Oladipo is a great play at 7-8 in his new role at Houston. He's expected to get a ton of usage as well, so continue to play him with no John Wall in this one. And then DeAndre Ayton at 7K I think makes a lot of sense, taking on the front court of Houston. I'm not worried about the defense of Christian Wood, DeMarcus Cousins, any of these guys really, so I do have a lot of interest in DeAndre Ayton in this one. He makes a lot of sense to play. And you can be playing Eric Gordon at 5-5 with no John Wall. Eric Gordon, Victor Oladipo, Christian Wood makes sense as the top plays on this Houston team. Ben McLemore off the bench. It's a 6-man. Could be a sneaky play at 4-3. He can get hot for you. He got a price tag decrease down to 4-3, so he makes some sense as well. And then you can play Mason Jones at 3-7, who's been getting some run. But tough going there. I'd be looking to the guys, the main guys that I mentioned in this game. So pretty straightforward. And then you can play a Jae'Sean Tate as well. He makes some sense getting some run with this team at 4-7. But, Victor Oladipo, Christian Wood, main usage guys in this one. Chris Paul and DeAndre Ayton, my favorites on the Phoenix side. You could throw in Mikal Bridges as well if you need some more salary relief. He can definitely get you there at 5-7 in this matchup against Houston, so I like him. San Antonio at Golden State. Stephen Curry at the top at 9-7. As far as this game's Vegas totals, this game comes with a 226.5 over-under with a 1.5 point spread in favor of the Golden State Warriors. So Golden State favored in this one, which is a little surprising, but that's just the case. So a 226.5 over-under, that's decent, but I don't know. DeMar DeRozan, DeJounte Murray, all these guys are back and healthy for San Antonio. We have other spots that we can capitalize on the slate that we've already talked about where all the usage is going to be condensed. Good matchup taking on Golden State. I'm not worried about the defense. DeJounte Murray would probably be my favorite option at 7-4. He makes a lot of sense, putting up 39, 42, and 38 DraftKings points the last 3 times out at a mid-7K price tag. You could play a Keldon Johnson at 6-6, but a little inconsistent. A lot of upside for Keldon Johnson, but a little inconsistent with LaMarcus Aldridge back. But Keldon Johnson and DeJounte Murray would probably be my favorite options. Andrew Wiggins is questionable in this one. If he is out, you can be looking to some value plays in Damian Lee and Kent Bazemore on the Golden State side. So these guys are priced at 3-4 and 3-2. So that's actually kind of some important news here because that does open up some interesting value plays if he is out. So that would be what my biggest thing I'd be focusing on this game. And then outside of that, playing Steph Curry, obviously. Steph Curry has a ton of upside on Golden State. He's the main guy on their offense. You always got to have interest in him at 9-7. It's just a matter of whether we could play, guys in more up-tempo games. But the usage is not a concern. We know he can shoot it from 3. You get that half-point bonus on DraftKings. You always got to have interest in Steph Curry. I just wish it was a faster-paced game for him. And then if, Wiggins is out, Kelly Oubre obviously becomes a much better play as well alongside Draymond Green. So that's what we're looking to in this one. Moving further along, Sacramento at the Los Angeles Clippers. This game is going to be the fastest-paced game we've discussed so far. This game comes in with a 233 over-under with a 10.5 point spread in favor of the Los Angeles Clippers. So there's a good chance this game turns into a blowout as the only thing, but it's expected to be fast-paced. I'm looking to target the guys that are more appropriately priced. De'Aaron Fox, my lock of the night last time out, gets a much tougher matchup taking on this Los Angeles Clippers team. Even though it's going to be fast-paced, he's going to have to take on the defense of Paul George most likely, unless they put Paul George on Buddy Hield. But I have a feeling Paul George is going to be on De'Aaron Fox. And if it's not Paul George, it's going to be Patrick Beverley, who, a pretty decent defender. So Tougher matchup for him. I would be looking to the guys that are priced more appropriately, like a Buddy Hield, like a Rashawn Holmes, like a Harrison Barnes in the mid-range. These guys all make sense in an up-tempo game, priced down here in the mid-6K range. I'd be looking at them. And then Lou Williams continues to be questionable, so if he's out, that's going to open up more usage for a guy like Luke Kennard at 4-3. And not to mention, if this game turns into a blowout anyways, Luke Kennard has a ton of upside. 32 and 29 DraftKings points the last 2 times out. This guy can absolutely choke it from behind the arc. And I'd like Luke Kennard for sure if this game turns into a blowout. So he's a sneaky value play. Marcus Morris Sr., same thing applies for him. He would get some more run, and I like him. I like these guys as is priced down here, honestly, in this game. I think they're a little sneaky. In a game where they're expected to run away with this one fairly easy, I think Marcus Morris and Luke Kennard, guys that are really good and can fit in as starters on other teams, alongside Ivica Zubac, could be the ones that are really going off in this one down here. So they make sense to me. Marvin Bagley is questionable, but he is looking like more so probable. So, yeah, that'd be my interest in this one. You know, Kawhi Leonard and Paul George up top, you could pay for. They could definitely both have big games. Just the blowout risk is kind of scary in this one. If they're going to be blowing them out, though, it's probably going to be one of these guys doing it. I would prefer Paul George. I think Kawhi Leonard's a guy I really lean on targeting in competitive games. That's kind of when he steps up. Paul George is kind of more of the street ball player per se at times, where he can go out there and still have a big game against easier teams. So I like Paul George the most for sure. Memphis at Portland. No more CJ McCollum, so that means Damian Lillard is going to become a great play on this slate. CJ McCollum is expected to be out for a while. Damian Lillard did get a price bump up to 10-4, but for good reason. This guy's going to get a ton of usage with no more CJ McCollum. I absolutely love him. Get him in your lineups. Ja Morant, no Jonas Valanciunas, no Jaren Jackson Jr. Ja Morant played 34 minutes last time. I'd expect him to get a bunch of usage in this one as well. I have interest in him. Both these teams not really good defensively, even though it's not the highest over-under in the world. They don't really scare me on the defensive end. And this Cantor, there continues to be no Yusuf Nurkic, so he makes a lot of sense in this one. As mentioned, no Jonas Valanciunas, so Brandon Clark, Dylan Brooks are going to get some good minutes. I like Brandon Clark a lot at 6K. I like Dylan Brooks a lot at 6K. So both of those guys make a lot of sense. You know, the beneficiary is going to be Brandon Clark in this one, so make sure you're getting him in your lineups with no Jonas Valanciunas. Kyle Anderson as well makes some sense for sure. Tyus Jones, you know, Ja Morant being back, I'm not really all that interested in Tyus Jones at his price tag. Robert Covington, I'd expect to get some more usage in the Portland offense, more rebound opportunities, that kind of thing with no Yusuf Nurkic, so you can jump on him. Same rule applies for Derrick Jones Jr. So a lot of interest to be had in this one overall. And make sure you're getting Clark in your lineups. You know, he gets a big bump. Make sure you're getting Damian Lillard in your lineups. Make sure you're getting Ja Morant in your lineups. That's pretty much an overall breakdown here. And then Gorgie Jang is an interesting value play as well. At only 4-4 with no Jonas Valanciunas, he could definitely get you there well. Very good fantasy point per minute producer, so like him. And that is my overall breakdown of this 10-game NBA DFS slate on DraftKings. Before I let you go, I got to get you my lock of the night. Let's get into it. And my lock of the night tonight is going to be Mr. Damian Lillard. As mentioned, no CJ McCollum in this one. Damian Lillard did get a price bump up to 10-4, but I don't care. The Memphis defense does not scare me. This guy's going to get all the usage in the world. He's going to have legitimate 70-point upside every single time he takes the floor now. 80-point, 90-point, 100-point upside, literally, if he gets hot. We've seen this guy can literally shoot from half court. Damian Lillard, unlimited range, unlimited usage, tons of opportunity to get it going in this one with no CJ McCollum. I absolutely love him. I'm going to love him a lot going forward with this opportunity that just opened up for him. And he is no doubt my lock of the night. So there you have it, guys. Damian Lillard, get him in your lineups. He's my lock of the night. If you enjoyed the content, if you could please leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future content from me. That would be greatly appreciated. And then don't forget, you can check out my Patreon package, link below in the description. Get access to my premium projections, my chat, ask me any questions, all of my sheets, my core plays, a lot of good stuff going on over there at an affordable price. So check that out. That is all from me. Wish you all the best of luck tonight, and we will see you in the next one.